We get a lot of inquiries from golfers asking about how they can cure specific swing flaws. And today I want to talk about the problem of sway. So what sway is that as a right-handed golfer, as you start to come towards the top of your backswing, the right hip and right leg will sway outside of this line. Now, the physical characteristics that affect sway are twofold. One is a lack of flexibility in the hips, and that would be the hip flexors, the front of the hips, also the external hips, which is the glutes, as well as a lack of strength and control. So I'm going to show you 4 yoga-based exercises today that will help you with the issue of the swing flaw of sway. So what I want to do first is to strengthen the glutes and the hamstrings and the quads. We're going to do what's called a chair pose. So it's going to look like a traditional squat, but what I want you to do is focus on keeping your posture upright. Now you can do that by holding a club either in front of you, or if you want to make it more challenging, you can take the club above your head. What I want you to do is shift your weight back as if you're sitting in a chair, okay? And then squeeze the glutes and come on back up. Now don't come up to the point that your legs are locked out. You want to keep the knees slightly bent. So inhale down, exhale up. Now you want to do that about 15 times. Notice my posture remains upright. And then you're going to hold here and do little pulses 15 more times, okay? That should really help with strengthening the area of the hips. Let's come down to the floor and we'll show you some flexibility exercises. Okay. The first one we're going to do is called hip lifts. And this is a great stretch for the hips, especially for an older golfer or someone who is really struggling with mobility. It's very basic and simple. You want to extend the left leg out, okay, and bend your right leg with the right foot on the floor. As you exhale, press your right hip straight up towards the ceiling. And what you're doing is you're using your glutes to move the hip up. And you'll feel the stretch through the hip flexors and the psoas muscle. Good, okay? You can do that 5 to 10 times and switch sides. The next one is called window washers. And what you want to do is take your feet wider than your yoga mat, knees are bent. As you inhale, let your legs fall down to the left, feeling the stretch through the external hips and also through the glutes and the IT band, okay? Now, squeeze your glute and press your right hip up towards the ceiling to get a deeper stretch through the hip flexors and the psoas. Okay, inhale, come back, and then come over to the other side, okay? So you can hold here and press the hip up. Very good. Do that one more time, okay? So ultimately, you're going to do this maybe 5 to 10 times on each side. Really focusing on the stretch on the internal hip rotators, okay? And then lastly, we're going to do what's called a supine pigeon pose. I want you to bring your right foot on the outside of your left knee, and the way that most people do this stretch for the hip is they just simply press their knee away. What I want you to do is flex your right foot and feel like you're lifting your leg up and out of your hip. So you're extending and creating more space in the hip, okay? Hold there for a few breaths. And then if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can take your hand underneath, kind of lace the hands through here and grab onto your left hamstring and pull the leg towards you, okay? And you want to hold there for about 5 to 10 breaths and make sure that you switch sides. So if you combine these hip strengthening exercises with the hip flexibility exercises, this should help you to start to alleviate sway.